Good morning. How are you today? It's a nice Saturday. It's cooler. It's supposed to be cooler to cold next week, so we're going to pay for our spring days. But the sun is out. Wind's not so bad, so we'll take it as we get it. The time I spent last evening with Ari Melber prompted some people to send me questions. And for those who didn't see the show or know about it, the questions were related to the investigations of Trump in three locations: New York, D.C., and principally D.C., and Georgia. The one in New York is, of course, the case involving, I think it's $290 million in loans that went to the cost of 4 buildings in Manhattan. And the question was whether Trump didn't enhance the value for the purposes of the loans and depreciate the value for the purposes of taxes. And New York has all of these income tax records now and financial records, and they're keeping them in a hermetically sealed special place so that nobody can affect those records, whether they be digital or paper. The second matter, which may or may not involve Trump, I believe it will if it's done well, is the insurrection. There's a sweep of arrests. I think it's more than 200 of people who were on the Hill in various jurisdictions across the United States. And it's ballyhooed as one of the largest investigations the FBI has ever run. And the third place is Georgia, where on 2 occasions, Trump himself implicated himself in interfering with the election, trying to get them to say he won when he lost. In one case, he spoke to the Georgia Secretary of State and asked him to find one more vote, plus all the other votes that would cover the margin by which Biden had actually beat him. And the second conversation was with an investigator in the state, election investigator, trying to get her to discredit ballots of blacks in Fulton County and to use that as a springboard to eliminate all the ballots in Fulton County. And they didn't do that. So there are a couple of basic thoughts here about how one proceeds to investigation that I was asked about. One is, what is a conspiracy? It is an agreement between 2 people or more to commit a crime, but you need more than an agreement. You need an overt act. You have to do something. The overt act doesn't itself have to be a crime. And often in conspiracies, one of the things that happen is to cover up people, try to intimidate witnesses and so forth. So that's a basic thing. The New York investigation is interesting. But the one that's really fascinating to me is the largest investigation the FBI/Justice Department has ever done. I'm not sure that's true because they've done some pretty large investigations over the years. But it certainly is awesome in terms of scope. And here's what they're doing. They're issuing search warrants for the people that they've identified were present. And they're also getting their telephone data, which is the time, date, and place where they were located. And you can get that information on a continuum, which allows you to follow where one is. And you can, and I've been in cases where this is true, where they take the data of other people and they see if you're proximate or with that person at what time and in what place. Powerful technology. Supreme Court's been very concerned about it, but at the state of the law right now is if you ask an impartial magistrate for a warrant for such information, you have a very good chance of getting it. And in the case of Stewart, who was one of the people who was arrested out in Alabama, who was present with Roger Stone on the day of the insurrection, supposedly providing him security, they got his information with such a warrant. So what do I see going forward? I see a lot of fear because of those people who committed the crime involved in the insurrection, and anybody who's a public official who may have helped them, and we all have theories about that. including Hawley, I suppose, and Cruz. But none of that has been proven yet. But he did seem pretty nervous when he heard about such data being used. So the rest of my analysis is that what they're doing is they're asking to leave sealed the warrants that they've filed for another 60 days as the statute permits, supposedly not to reveal an investigation and compromise its effectiveness. But what they've done is they put everybody on notice who used their phone to text or call someone or to participate in this insurrection. They put them all on notice that the G-men are coming for you, and they are coming for a lot of them. And last night, Ari basically asked me, so how would this work? And have we given away something? No, we haven't given away something because they haven't identified publicly which of the warrants that they're keeping sealed for 60 days. But the way it works is they issue a complaint so that they don't have to close off their investigation as they might with an indictment, because you're not allowed to use a grand jury once an indictment is issued for a pending case. So that's why they're going forward with complaints. The other reason is that when they serve it on the person and they're in custody, they can say, well, you know, we have you dead to rights on the fact you were at the Capitol and that you did A, B, and C, but you might want to help yourself. And last night I've gotten comments about this. Basically say, we're loading up a bus of people who are cooperating, and we'd like you to be part of that and give you consideration for cooperating when it matters. But down the road, you're not going to be able to help us because we'll have the case without you. So you're either on the bus or you're under the bus. And that's probably approximately what I said last night, but I may be clearer because I didn't include some of the elements that operate in an investigation. And it's much more complicated than this, obviously. Have to get an affidavit, get to a magistrate, have to have sufficient probable cause to go forward. But there are some people who think there really is no Fourth Amendment anymore, and that people can just go in and say, I want a warrant, and get one. And some people do get warrants orally, which is a mistake for everybody, including the defendant, because if you get decent evidence, you want to be able to use it. So that's my reprise of what happened on Ari last night. I do admit that I had fun, and he couldn't believe that I might actually sometime not wear a jacket and tie, but I know some of you who are watching this, at least at the beginning, probably had the same feeling, you know, where's my tie and stuff like that. I have joked over the years that I wear a tie in the shower when I take a shower. No, I don't. But anyhow, get out today if you can. It's beautiful, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.